और हम देख
Meanwhile, the other big story that we aren't taking our focus away from, as the Citizenship Amendment Bill was passed by Parliament earlier this week, Assam continues to remain particularly on edge. It's become a street war where there has been a huge amount of damage. It is a very tense situation in several parts, including in Guwahati. Concerned over the grim situation, State Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal has appealed for calm. Angry protesters have continued to defy a curfew order imposed in Dibrugarh and Guwahati. Thousands of protesters have blocked the roads and clashed with police personnel in Guwahati and other places. Paramilitary and police have fired tear gas at protesters to maintain law and order in the state. The Guwahati Police Commissioner has been removed. Mobile internet services have been suspended for the next 2 days to prevent incitement of protests and mobilization of protesters. All flights and train services to Assam have been suspended because of the ongoing situation. 5 army columns have been called in to control the situation. They've already been deployed. Miscreants also burnt down the Panitola and Chabua railway stations under the Tinsukia railway division on Wednesday. So a huge number of protesters in some places have overwhelmed security and caused a huge amount of damage, reflective of the pervasive anger over the Citizenship Amendment Bill. Senior Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant has just spoken to Minister of State in the PMO, Jitendra Singh, on the prevalent situation in the wake of the Citizenship Amendment Bill. Let's listen in.
The situation in Assam and in Tripura is tense, and with me is Minister for Northeast Affairs, Dr. Jitendra Singh. Dr. Jitendra Singh, the Citizenship Amendment Bill passed in Rajya Sabha, but did the government make a mistake in assessing the situation on ground, and especially in the Northeast?
No, while appreciating your concern, Gaurav, I will put it this way, that the disturbance that whatever has been witnessed in the last 2 days is in fact confined to very limited areas of Northeast. So it would not be right to say that the entire Northeast is disturbed. The disturbance, if at all, is confined to some districts of Upper Assam or maybe Tripura. And I'm sure within a few hours, and very soon, this is going to calm down. Actually, there have been certain disgruntled elements which were sought to be provoked also by the Congress party in a big way, because let's not forget that over the last 5-6 years, Congress has lost its mass base in the Northeast, and one after the other, each of the 8 states have voted for BJP. So Congress thought it was perhaps a good opportunity for them to fish in the troubled waters of Brahmaputra, but I'm sure that's not going to happen.
So you're blaming the Congress, but it's a BJP government in place both in Tripura and in Assam. And in Assam, did Sarbanand Sonowal or Hemant Biswa Sarma or the administration, did they make a mistake in not being able to assess? I mean, it's not just Dibrugarh or Tinsukia, Silchar, Guwahati, schools, colleges, while they may remain open, but tires are being burnt, railway stations are being targeted.
Yeah, but at the same time, let's not forget that over the last 2 or 3 days, there's not been a major incident of violence. And of course, this burning of tires, etc., is something which sometimes the administration also gives leverage for a reasonable expression of the public opinion. But the public opinion which is also being expressed is possibly because of certain misgivings and certain misinformation which have been sought to be created in public. But I'm sure, because it is our people who are actually on the streets in the last 1 or 2 days. They are the ones who voted BJP to a huge extent, both in Lok Sabha as well as in these states. And therefore, when our representatives are among them and trying to make them understand what actually are the contents of the bill, because the contents of the bill are quite different from what is being sought to be perpetrated, and that is what is creating some kind of misgivings. But I'm sure the youth, when they understand that all these concerns which they have even today have been adequately addressed, rather more than addressed than the earlier version of the bill which came in the last Lok Sabha.
Okay, but
Well, after passing the Parliament test, it first passed in the Lok Sabha, then it passed in the Rajya Sabha after a lot of heated debates in Parliament. The Citizenship Amendment Bill is all set for a Supreme Court battle. Remember, there was Parliament, there is a street fight that is raging even now in the Northeast, but the real battle for this law will be in the Supreme Court. After the Modi government's flagship bill was passed with 125 votes to 99 in the upper house, the opposition plans to challenge the bill in Supreme Court. Indian Union Muslim League was the first to file a petition challenging the bill, awaiting a presidential nod. The Indian Union Muslim League, in its petition, claims that granting citizenship to one section of immigrants on the basis of religion is discriminatory and against the Constitution. The Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind and All India United Democratic Front are also mulling filing petitions against the bill. Sources say that the Congress party is also likely to follow suit and file its own petition in Supreme Court.
Why we filed is, it is basically against the fundamental principles of our great constitution. All the citizens should be alike. All the citizens should be treated alike, irrespective of their religion, caste, creed, or anything. All the students learn this from the elementary schools. That is a very fundamental pillar of our constitution. This has been violated here.
देखो, मुस्लिम लीग को तो स्वाभाविक है कि उसको दर्द होगा। बंटवारे का जो सपना और संकल्प इन्होंने उस समय लिया था, उसको भी आगे बढ़ाना चाहते थे, वो रुक गया है। अब उन्हीं के सुर में सुर मिलाते हुए जो है वो कुछ कांग्रेस के मित्र भी दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं।
Okay, I have with me Tehseen Poonawalla, is a well-known political activist. We also have with us Shazia Ilmi, spokesperson and senior member of the BJP. Tehseen, coming to you first. I hear you plan to file a petition. You plan to be joined by students from Assam. You plan to take their word to the president, to Rashtrapati Bhavan as well. You're waiting, correct me if I'm wrong, for the presidential assent before you approach the Supreme Court. So does this mean this entire issue, it's had its debate, it's had its time in Parliament, the battle now shifts to the Supreme Court then? Yours will be one of many petitions, I imagine.
Yes, I hope the Congress party and other people also file their petitions. Mine will be one of many. Along with me will be Assami students who tomorrow join me in going to the Honourable President and also to Parliament to request that this bill either be withdrawn or the Honourable President does not sign this bill. I just have one question to raise with Shazia, and she's a very worthy opponent and she's somebody I respect. If this bill is so good for India, as the Honourable Minister was telling your colleague Gaurav Sawant, the Honourable Minister from PMO Jitendra Singh Ji, why is Assam today under curfew? And it's a lie that it's only some parts of Assam and Tripura. The entire Tripura and internet is suspended in all of Assam. Why have you deployed the army? Shift, certainly you understand that when the army is deployed, it's very, very, very serious business. Why has that happened? If this is good for Assam and Tripura, why this? You've cancelled the Prime Minister and the Japanese Prime Minister's meeting there. This is very serious. Is the normalcy of Kashmir being now extended to Assam? I think these are questions we need to answer. And if it is inconveniences our fellow citizens, I think we need to take a step back. There's nothing wrong in taking a step back.
Okay, Shazia, you can respond to that directly.
I want to answer them.
Yeah, you can answer that directly. My question is also about when this moves to the Supreme Court now, there is going to be a large context to what is happening, and it isn't just simply that this has had its time in Parliament and has been passed in both houses. There is a lot happening in the Northeast, and all of that will of course be under consideration as well. You can respond, Shazia.
Sure. Shiv, Tehseen, just to answer your question and your misgivings, things, as we all know, in Northeast are volatile, and there is reason to put army in action over there, and as well as have curfew, because we do not want things to spiral out of control and there to have serious riots. What is needed to be done at this point of time is to understand the mechanism that CAB wants to institute, including a committee under the 6th schedule to protect the integrity, identity and demography of Assam and Northeast. While very clearly it has been said and specific to Northeast, answers have been given by the Honourable Home Minister vis-a-vis the inner line permit in 3 states, also the autonomous tribal regions, as well as the need to protect the interests of those who feel apprehension at the idea that more outsiders, not necessarily Hindus or Muslim, but outsiders will come and threaten the existence and the inherent identity, the innate identity and culture of the Assamese people. What is needed to be done is not to stoke the fire, but to explain CAB as it is, and to wait for the mechanism and the implementation to happen, because this will happen all over the country. Definitely the conversation vis-a-vis Northeast is very nuanced. is sensitive, is different from what is going on in the parliament, because what is being said in the parliament is essentially Hindu versus Muslim.
Okay.
It's creating a kind of
there is no doubt. There is no doubt that there is a simplifying of what is essentially quite a complex issue.
Doctrine
it has been reduced to
an insecurity
a black and white issue. I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying, Shazia. But I want to ask, before this goes, as this goes to the Supreme Court, Tehseen, the idea that this could have gone to the Select Committee, the fight against sending this to the Select Committee, do you think that stands petitioners like you in good stead, at least in part, when this goes to the Supreme Court now?
Yes.
About why there was an urgency to, push this through, apart from the debate itself, why it couldn't have gone to the Select Committee?
That's true. One of the arguments I will give in the Honorable Supreme Court is exactly what Shazia has given. Shazia actually argued on my behalf. All of what Shazia said is absolutely true, and therefore, if all of this of what Shazia said, it's sensitive, people need to be made aware of this bill, made to be aware of the process. Why could you not have just sent this to the Select Committee as the opposition had proposed? By 6 months, the Honorable Home Minister, who's my Home Minister as well, gone to Assam, explained to the people, explained the mechanism. Today, Shazia, people in Assam, the students who've been fired upon are our fellow students. They could have been your son, your brother. Shazia, I did not interrupt you. Let me make a very serious point. This is a very serious channel. This is not a republic of nonsense. Can I please make a serious point? This is the India today, it's not the Republic of Nonsense. May I please make a serious point? You interrupt me later. Can I, Shiv, if I may be allowed?
Shazia, let him just finish, I'll come to you.
While if you were responsible,
you can rebut full without an interruption, Shazia. Let him just finish, I'll come to you.
I will answer.
Yeah.
Every single thing you said, Shazia, I hold that in good state. I exactly am saying...
Go ahead.
I'm exactly saying that. Therefore, what would have been moralistic for us is not show that we have the numbers, but rather reach out to the people, explain your bill to them, reach out. And nobody is making this Hindu-Muslim. Understand, the Assam issue is about intruders. The fact that you're saying Hindus will get citizenship is what's offended them. It is not a Hindu-Muslim issue.
I understand Assam really well.
Okay. I'm sure you do, ma'am. But if you keep your arrogance a little bit in check and have a civil discourse,
you repeated yourself now. Can I come?
Maybe I don't understand as well.
Shazia, answer.
Okay, so can I come in now? Okay, so to answer, so specifically to what you said, Tehseen, is what I was saying is because we understand, and this is exactly why Amit Shah ji, our Honorable Home Minister, mentioned Northeast and Assam and went from one state to the other and said as to how there will be a mechanism in place which will be a special committee just to assuage the fears and apprehensions of the people. You are saying this should have been done earlier. What they're seeing, if you really were concerned about the people of Assam or Northeast, you, instead of stoking fire and creating and rabble-rousing, you would have told them that this is going to be done in a way which does not threaten their identity, and because you are doing it deliberately for your political gains. Whereas there is a special mechanism in place to understand the sensitivities of the region. Sensitivities. No, let me finish saying what I'm saying.
But when you
so
ask me or the opposition to do it,
and telling people
we are not
that
in power. You are in
there
power.
is no need for them to fear particularly. This holds true for you more than us, because we have said as to exactly how it will be done in Northeast, and there would be a addressal of these very concerns. I don't think that the people...
Shazia, let me just come in. One small question to Shazia, then you can answer. Then you can answer that.
If you look at the numbers...
Shazia, just a small question.
If you look at the numbers...
I am saying, given everything that has happened in Assam right now, you're saying that there has been rabble-rousing, etc. I'm sure there are many wheels within wheels and pulls and pressures within the organizations in Assam. Nobody is discounting that. I am simply saying, given that this is a very sensitive issue, like you said, hugely nuanced, I am wondering whether the fact that this couldn't have been sent to a select committee in some ways weakens the government's case if and when this goes to the Supreme Court. Why couldn't it have taken more time? What was the urgency? Couldn't that be something that can be asked?
Shiv, on every issue in the last 5 decades, we know exactly what the select committee has been doing and has been done so far. And now I just want to ask you, this is one question being raised by them, but there has been talk of this for the longest period. And specifically to address all the issues that Tehseen is raising, very fairly so, I want to say, in the interest of Northeast, because there is going to be a specific committee just there to protect the sixth schedule, to ensure that in 3 states this will not even be there, because there are inner line permit provision, and because autonomous hill regions are protected. So all those people who are there, no, let me finish. So there is no prospective effect to this bill. Please understand. Let us look at how many people have been living since 31st December 2014. And amongst them, those who come in the region and where they have to be located is something that is specific to be done. And of course, keeping those numbers in mind, we have it is not going to be like everybody will be allowed to come because they're Bengali Hindus or Muslims.
30 seconds left. Ultimately, you know, the words have been spoken, and now it will be basically in a legal forum in front of the country's top court. You're going to be one of the petitioners, Tehseen. How are you looking this case moving forward now?
I hope, and you cannot second guess the Honorable Supreme Court, which strikes it down along with the other petitioners. But I just want to end by asking one question. 3 divisions of the army have been moved to Assam. This is not a joke, Shazia. You should have thought this through. People are inconvenienced because of your governance.
I've answered that.
Is immoral. It's immoral,
so you
Shazia.
Want there to be violence?
Kashmir is shut down, Tripura is shut down, Assam shut down.
You want there to be, you want Northeast to be mired.
It's not correct. You may have the numbers, you may have the legality.
No, I think it's
immorality.
a very good step.
It's not
I'm extremely proud of the Indian
proud
state
that people are being fired upon.
That it is taken to ensure
proud that people are burning buses. Are you proud of that, Shazia?
Yes.
These are our fellow citizens.
You want writing.
These are our countrymen
and women. You are for deaths.
Are you
for
proud
violence?
people have left the secretariat and joined the protest?
I'm not for violence, Ceci.
Are you proud the police force has left
violence
and
you don't
joined the
want the violence to be
protest?
stopped.
Is this the idea of India that you're talking about?
I think the law and order and the state machinery has every right to ensure that there is no violence. You are promoting violence and I'm against violence.
Does the army deserve to fire at them?
The students of Northeast, we do not want rioting and arson to take place.
There are 3 divisions of army. Do you understand what that means?
To ensure that no rabble rousing is done and innocent lives are not lost at the altar of absolutely low-level politics. I think that the state is responsible for the safety of people.
You are in power in the state, Shazia.
That you promote
Your
violence.
Chief Minister, Mr. Sonowal, is in power in the state and in Tripura. It is Mr. Biplab Dev Burman. Please do not come up and say that you do not know.
And if writing were to go unchecked,
if the BJP in power, Shazia, both in Assam, in Tripura and
what would you be saying on TV today? That what was the state doing? That BJP is in power and BJP would have allowed this thing to happen, which is exactly why BJP cannot allow, or any government,
so you will bring the army in to shoot upon our own fellow citizens. Is that the justice you're talking about?
Violence take over.
Shazia, I don't think you comprehend what it means to have the army on the road. I want you to understand we have the army on the road in Assam. It's unacceptable. We have internet cut off in Tripura. We have internet cut off in Kashmir. We have internet cut off in Assam. These are border states.
That you want violence to be unabated in. It is unacceptable that you want violence in a state.
Who is creating the violence? Your bill created the violence.
And I want the state machinery to do whatever it takes.
The only thing to consider now, though, I just want to come in here for a moment.
Ask the writers, ask the rabble rousers, Tehseen, and don't be a part of them.
As we wrap up,
you have to ensure there is no rioting. You have to ensure that violence.
So why did you not talk to these people before bringing the bill in? As Shiv rightly said, send it to the select committee and buy peace. Why did you not do it?
But Shazia says that select committees have always just meant further delays in decisive action.
It's been 6 months. You could have got all this that she's promising on TV then. Why form this committee later? You could have formed it in the beginning.
But Shazia,
what happened?
Shazia,
you also went on Rafale to
have you read the
Supreme Court.
Nagaland? Forget Rafale. This is not about Rafale.
Remember, this
the
is what
Honorable Prime Minister had to deal with Nagaland. Have you read the Nagaland Accord? You haven't read it. I haven't read it. Where are these promises being kept?
Shazia, okay, no, a technical question, because see, ultimately this is an emotive issue. I think everyone feels very strongly about what's going on.
Keeping that promise in mind, sixth schedule has been mentioned specifically on the floor of the House. Tehseen, if you heard the speech of the Home Minister, you probably would not have said that.
I
You
heard
would
his
have gone and
speech.
told your
I
Assamese
also heard the
friends and
speech of my
brothers
Prime
to
Minister who
hear
said in
and
50 days
understand before having
demonetization
this kind
effects
of
will
a
stop.
When this comes up in
Then
Supreme
you would
Court,
not have said this.
when this comes up in Supreme Court, Shazia, when this comes up in the Supreme
That has
Court,
nothing to do with this. I can talk about demonetization
I get it,
also,
I get it.
and I
Take
can
my
bring in
question,
Rafael.
Shazia, just take my question for a moment. Yes, okay, all of that is accepted. I am simply saying, I am simply wondering right now, because this issue has sort of gone out of hand in many ways. There is a live security situation in Assam. It is no doubt nuanced. There are definitely vested interests who are looking to destabilize the Northeast at this point of time. All of that is a given. Okay, I am simply asking now, when this shifts to the Supreme Court, isn't all of that, Shazia, I am just simply wondering this as a citizen, not even as a journalist, isn't all of that going to come under consideration when and if the Supreme Court needs to take a decision on whether this law should go through or not?
Of course. Absolutely. And I think I totally concede as far as going to the Supreme Court and the right of individual petitioners to ask questions on this issue are concerned, because they have the right, there is that legal recourse, and Supreme Court will weigh all the narratives with all fairness. I have complete faith in that. And if indeed something is found unwarranted and something that is leading to a situation that is not going to to facilitate peace, Supreme Court will consider it. So I think Tehseen is well in his within his rights to take it to Supreme Court, and we are well within our rights to answer the Supreme Court as to what we stand for as to the implementation of CAB in these areas.
So, Tehseen, you heard the Prime Minister's message today as well. You know, there was a tone of reassurance, a tone of comfort. It was the first time the Prime Minister was speaking on this particular issue. You know, that the BJP does have that going for it. Yes, you can talk about how this wasn't sent to the Select Committee. You can talk about how, Assam is burning. But at the end of the day, as far as parliamentary procedure is concerned, there was a long, strenuous, meticulous debate where answers were given to every single point and counterpoint raised by the opposition. That is perhaps why the Modi government is confident, even if this shifts to the Supreme Court.
That may be true, and a lot of what the government answered was pure rhetoric and may not meet the constitutional test tone of constitutionality. But I have a larger point. I'll tell you why I don't have reassurance from the Honorable Prime Minister. He's my Prime Minister, and I'm just going to divert for 10 seconds. From demonetization to GST to Kashmir to now Northeast, the Prime Minister has repeatedly assured us on a number of things. Demonetization, he said, look, do this, terrorism will end, stone pelting will end, Northeast will, business will improve. GST, he said, economy will improve. He hasn't met any of those promises. In Kashmir, he keeps saying everything is normal. Kashmiri leaders, internet shut off 4 months. I'm fighting that case in court. Leaders are in jail. Now this has moved to Northeast. My problem is, we are not talking about the economic recession, the $5 trillion economy, the onion prices. We are missing the woods for the trees. The Prime Minister is not reassuring us anymore. And for the Prime Minister to tweet to Assam when the Assam internet is shut off, I find it quite...
Okay, so 30 seconds left. Since I started with Tehseen, I'll end with you, Shazia, on the Prime Minister's assurance. 30 seconds to you, Shazia.
So I would like to say this. So see, it's totally Tehseen's right, again, not to be taken in by Prime Minister's words or to be swayed by his assurance. That is, he is again within his rights to spew venom against the Prime Minister. That is his democratic right, and I totally defend his right to do so. You're talking about GST. GST went through the Council of States, and there was a GST council, and all the states which have Congress CMs and CMs from other parties were all part of it.
Okay.
And you had Rahul Gandhi calling it Gabbar, saying tax, which was hilarious.
Okay, I'm out of time now.
Demonetization, we have been completely clear about what is the idea of demonetization. On Rafale, you went to Supreme Court, you went all over. Now you see All India Muslim Personal Law Board, I've just been told, also went with a review petition, and that has been dismissed. So, I mean, the cause always stays. But but don't bring
out of time. Okay, point made, Shazia. I hear you. I hear the point you're making. So things have gone to the Supreme Court, you're saying, in the past, and you're saying you've seen what has happened. It's going to be interesting. This is without a doubt 2019's biggest story. It is going to be a big story for the foreseeable future as well. We'll see how it plays out in the Supreme Court. We will not, of course, prejudge anything, as Tehseen said. Thank you very much, Shazia Tehseen. Always a pleasure with me on 5 Live. Up next here on the show, a 5-judge Supreme Court bench has dismissed all 18 petitions seeking review of the November Ayodhya verdict. So all petitions seeking a review have been dismissed by a 5-judge bench led by the Chief Justice of India. Does this bring to a final stop the legal dispute over Ayodhya? The full story coming up next.
शनिवार रात 9 बजे और रविवार सुबह 11 बजे और रात 8 बजे सिर्फ तेज पर।
Shami's perfect Yorker की,
मनदीप की मैजिकल बाउंड्री इसकी,
एंड्रू टाई के हर विकेट की, and Vikrant's perfect match and analysis.
सिर्फ आज तक मोबाइल ऐप पर।
Download the app now. आज तक सबसे तेज।
सिर्फ देखो नहीं, खेलो भी। बनाओ अपनी टीम, खेलो अपना खेल। लॉग ऑन कीजिए आज तक 11.in पर।
रुकावट से हो तंग प्रिय तो कर लो ऐप चेंज प्रिय।
टेक बिना ब्रेक, डाउनलोड तक ऐप।
When you're watching your favorite video, you don't want a break, do you?
टेक बिना ब्रेक, डाउनलोड तक ऐप। All new India Today mobile app. Now get quick and short news flashes. Watch 4 TV news channels live in just a swipe. Read stories without data connection. And also read exclusive India Today magazine stories and interviews. Personalize your news feed and notifications. Watch a news bulletin of your favorite journalist anytime, anywhere. Now experience more lighter and faster. India Today mobile app from India's #1 news video publisher.
चचा माथा ना करो भारी, एग्जाम में जीती या हारी, जांचो बचवा की तैयारी, देखो दी लल्लन टॉप क्विज शो।
शनिवार रात 9 बजे और रविवार सुबह 11 बजे और रात 8 बजे सिर्फ तेज पर।
Shami's perfect Yorker की,
मनदीप की मैजिकल बाउंड्री इसकी,
एंड्रू टाई के हर विकेट की, and Vikrant's perfect match and analysis.
सिर्फ आज तक मोबाइल ऐप पर।
Download the app now. आज तक सबसे तेज।
सिर्फ देखो नहीं, खेलो भी। बनाओ अपनी टीम, खेलो अपना खेल। लॉग ऑन कीजिए आज तक 11.in पर।
रुकावट से हो तंग प्रिय तो कर लो ऐप चेंज प्रिय।
टेक बिना ब्रेक, डाउनलोड तक ऐप।
When you're watching your favorite video, you don't want a break, do you?
टेक बिना ब्रेक, डाउनलोड तक ऐप। All new
A 5-judge Supreme Court bench headed by the Chief Justice of India has dismissed all 18 petitions seeking review of the November 9th Ayodhya verdict. The apex court has dismissed all 18 pleas filed by both the Hindu and Muslim sides. The key petitioners were the Hindu Mahasabha and the All India Muslim Personal Law Board. In its plea, the Hindu Mahasabha had sought a review of the Supreme Court's decision to allocate an alternate 5-acre plot to the Muslim side to build a mosque in Ayodhya. The Muslim petitioners had challenged the title of the land being given to the Hindu parties. Remember, the Supreme Court on November the 9th had announced its landmark Ayodhya verdict, granting the custody of the disputed site to the Ram Lalla Virajman. It had also directed the government to provide an alternate 5-acre piece of land to the Muslim side for the construction of a new mosque.
Yes, I personally feel that it is very unfortunate that the Supreme Court has not entertained our review petitions in spite of there being so many glaring and apparent errors. But without looking into the Supreme Court order, we cannot say as to what should be our next step.
हमारे दिल में खलजान और यूँ कहिए कि असमंजस पहले भी था और आज भी है, और हम समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं कि हम इसकी तावील किस तरह करें। हमने ये बात पहले कही थी कि कानून की जगह है सुप्रीम कोर्ट, ये अकीदत की जगह नहीं है, आस्था की जगह नहीं है। खुद सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये बात कही थी कि ये हम कानूनी की बुनियाद पर करेंगे, मगर हम कहते हैं कि इब्तिदाई रुख तो कानूनी है, लेकिन उसका अंत जो है वो कानूनी नहीं रहा।
We have filed review petition pointing out certain observations in the judgment which according to our opinion were contradictory amongst themselves. Therefore, we thought our duty to bring it in the notice of the Honorable Supreme Court. Filing petition is our job, passing order is their judiciary's job, judge's job. We have done our job, they have done their job.
I have not received any information from inside. I am coming to know from you that all the 18 review petitions have been dismissed, because the procedure under the review petition is that there is no open court hearing. All the judges sit in the chamber and decide that whether they want to hear the matter in open court or not. This review petition which we had filed before the Supreme Court was a kind of counter review petition, in the sense that if Muslim parties, All India Muslim Personal Law Board and individual Muslim parties are heard before the Supreme Court, then in that scenario we should also be given an opportunity to counter them. It was not a review petition instigated by us.
आज लोग रिव्यू में जो लोग गए हैं, जब कोर्ट का फैसला जो है 9 तारीख को आ चुका था, रिव्यू की जरूरत नहीं थी। मैं साफ शब्दों में कहना चाहता हूं कि जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, केंद्र सरकार ने जो भी डिसीजन लिया उस पर अमल करे।
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का सही फैसला, नफरत पैदा करने वालों की दुकानें एक बार फिर बंद कर दी। राम मंदिर की जगह पर बाबरी मस्जिद बनाए जाने के संबंध में जो रिव्यू पिटीशन सुन्नी पक्षकारों की तरफ से डाली गई थी, उसमें कोई मेरिट न होने की वजह से माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने खारिज करके राष्ट्र हित में और सबूतों के आधार पर किए गए फैसले को कायम रखा है। यह हिंदुस्तान के लिए एक बहुत अच्छी खबर है।
तमाम देशवासियों को बधाई देना चाहते हैं कि जो चंद लोग देश का माहौल खराब करना चाहते थे, माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने उनकी याचिकाओं को खारिज कर दिया है, क्योंकि ये वो लोग हैं जो देश के अच्छे माहौल से कभी खुश नहीं रहते हैं। देश के माहौल को खराब करने का प्रयास किसी न किसी बहाने किया करते थे और पुनर्विचार याचिका को लेकर बार बार हाय तौबा मचा रहे थे।